Listen, buddy, cast your mind all the way back to a couple months ago. Phyrexia All Will Be One happened. That was 7 years ago, dude, in Magic time. In the long forgotten age of yore, there was a new Phyrexia themed set that had a bunch of bangers. But lo, in that before time there was some pretty expensive cards. These were really pricey. There was a lot of FOMO. There was a lot of hype, dude. So what happened to the hype? Did some of these tank? Now that the FOMO's worn off a little bit, let's take a look at where some of these landed. I'm going to give you my take on what's worth a good giggle and what's a chuckle fest. But first, be one with the like and subscribe buttons, brother. Alright, we're getting right into it with Sword of Forge and Frontier. 3 generic mana for an artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +2/+2, has protection from red and from green. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, exile the top 2 cards of your library. You may play those cards this turn. You may play an additional land this turn, has equipped for 2. This thing's about $9.25 right now. Interesting, is this in a vacuum and buying for commander worth about $10? I would say yes. This goes pretty ham in an equipment deck, and ramping and generating card advantage is about as good as it gets on these swords, dude. Land ramp is even better. Guarantees you hit a land, you'll be in great shape. How about the old mother-in-law Mayhem Dominus, dude? 2 red for a legendary creature, Phyrexian Horror. It's a 5/4 and a moo-moo. If a source you control will deal non-combat damage to an opponent or a permanent an opponent controls, it deals double that damage to that permanent or player instead. Has 1 and a red Phyrexian, discard 2 cards, put an indestructible counter on this dingus. I think this is bonkers for 4 mana and $7. This is a rad card for commander players who want this effect. Maybe you're pinging or burning, dude, whatever you're doing in your deck. Remember, this is non-combat damage. So if you have a commander that flings damage around, Nekazar, I'm looking at you, buddy. You're in the money with this Molten Mama. Oh man, how about the old Soapsuds Hunger Dominus? 5 green for a legendary creature, Phyrexian Horror. It's a 4/6 with reach. At the beginning of each combat, double the power and toughness of each creature you control until end of turn. As green Phyrexian, sacrifice 2 other creatures, put an indestructible counter on this old dingus. This is fairly costed, goes great in certain decks that swing through with fat creatures. Talking green decks here, buddy. This is $5, probably only worth it in certain decks. Looks like my ex-girlfriend from college. Phyrexian Obliterator. This guy is 4 black mana for a creature, Phyrexian Horror. It's a 5/5 with tramp stamps, dude. Whenever a source deals damage to Phyrexian Obliterator, that source's controller sacrifices that many permanents. This guy is $4 for the showcase, which looks like a watercolor using chocolate syrup for some reason, I don't know why. And the regular version looks great, I guess, looks okay. But who cares? Is it worth $4? Hell yeah it is. In a focused 1 and 2 color deck that wants that effect, it's a monster, dude. This is just about bulk price, almost. Very solid card that makes headaches all over the place. How about the old Tyrannax Rex? It's 4 green for a creature, Phyrexian Dinosaur. Everybody get up, get on the floor. Phyrexian Dinosaur. It's an 8/8. This spell can't be countered, has trample, ward 4, and haste. Those are all fantastic things. Also has toxic 4. An 8/8 with trample, ward 4, and haste for 7 mana, dude. And it can't be countered. This is a limited super bomb. This thing's gonna end games in those limited games, dude, but is it good in commander? Well, listen, in an infect deck, it's a couple poison counters if it gets through. It's doing 8 damage, dude. For 7 mana, this thing is not bad, dude. Certain decks, I'd definitely throw $3 at this. Then we got Drivnod over here. He's the Carnage Dominus, dude. 3 black for a legendary creature, Phyrexian Horror. It's an 8/3. If a creature dying causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. 2 black Phyrexian, exile 3 creature cards from your graveyard. Put an indestructible counter on the old Drivnod, dude. I know this guy is worth $3 in my Aristocrats decks because I stick them right in there. Basically halves the amount of creatures you need to drain people to death. Same with Teysa Karlov. Doesn't have to be your creature either, dude. If a creature dying, so one of your opponent's creatures triggers this guy too. I love Skeleton Grandpa. Now this is a new one, Phyrexian Vindicator, 4 white mana for a creature, Phyrexian Horror. It's a 5/5 with flying. If damage would be dealt to this guy, prevent that damage. When damage is prevented this way, this guy deals that much damage to any other target. Look at this guy. He's a Phyrexian arm wrestling champ with that big old paw, dude. I like the showcase version. This guy's under $3. Goes really nice in a Boros Burn deck. Just a mono white equipment deck, dude. This guy's carrying swords in there. That'd be fantastic. I like this. I think it's underpriced. I think it's undercosted. In every single set, you gotta have some cute little animal in there, and that's Skrell's Defector Might. White mana for a legendary artifact creature, Phyrexian Might. It's a 1/1 with Toxic 1. Skrell's Defector Might can't block. Has white Phyrexian and tap. Choose a color. Another target creature you control gains Toxic 1 and Hexproof from that color until end of turn. It can't be blocked by creatures of that color this turn. This guy is giving off Eastern European vibes, right? He's getting into the vodka, he's throwing up a revolution, and he's biting off his dad's fingers, dude. This guy's like Mother Teresa and Mother of Runes a little bit. Making your beaters unblockable is nice. I did a little video on this guy. Cool little card for $2. Conduit of Worlds, 2 green for an artifact. You may play lands from your graveyard. Has tapped, choose target non-land permanent in your graveyard. If you haven't cast a spell this turn, you may cast that card. If you do, you can't cast additional spells this turn, brother. Activate only as a sorcery. This Crucible of Worlds effect is really nice if you're in green, dude. Most land decks are green anyway. This costs 1 more but lets you recur your monsters that somebody's already spent time in removal killing. Underrated card for under $3 in very niche decks. I really like this card, the Mycosynth Gardens. It's a land, it's a sphere, dude. Tap, add colorless, or 1 and tap, add 1 mana of any color. That's fine. But X and tap, Mycosynth Gardens becomes a copy of target non-token artifact you control with mana value X. Do you want bland art? Well, me too, dude. This has some very bland art, but it's got some broken combo potential. But it just becomes another Soul Ring, dude. That's the floor on this thing, and that's fine. If you had 2 Soul Rings, you'd play them, you dingus. I know you would. $3 is fine for this. Now, Venerated Rot Priest. This guy's out there playing in some slime, dude. He's 1 green mana. For a creature, Phyrexian Druid, it's a 1/2, so it's already above curve right there. It's a 1/2 for 1 green mana. Has Toxic 1. Whenever a creature you control becomes the target of a spell, target opponent gets a poison counter. So this is under $2. There was a lot of hype about this thing at first. I'm not sure where this goes necessarily in Commander. There are certain decks like the Howling Abomination, Ivy, Gleeful Spell Thief, that could definitely capitalize on this. So if you have any of those commanders, consider this as like an alternate win condition. Only hits 1 opponent though. Alright, let's take a look at some big ticket items, brother. Atraxa Grand Unifier, 3 green, white, blue, and a black for a legendary creature Phyrexian Angel. It's a 7/7 with flying, vigilance, death touch, and lifelink. Whenever Atraxa Grand Unifier enters the battlefield, reveal the top 10 cards of your library. For each card type, you may put a card of that type from among the revealed cards into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So you got artifacts, battles, creatures, enchantments, instants, lands, planeswalkers, and sorceries are all card types. This card is a little perplexing to me. On the one hand, a 7/7 with those abilities is bonkers, and it draws cards. I mean, that's pretty good. Then it's a lightning rod for removal. If it gets countered, you're up a creek, dude. I'm not sure why it's $10. There are a lot of cards that have similar effects that aren't $10. Your mileage may vary, but even at that price, I've never considered buying one. Don't get me wrong, dude. This is a fantastic card. I mean, you can draw a bunch of cards off of this thing, and it's just this big monster, but it's kind of all it is. Now listen, I'm going to talk about Elish Norn and Mondrak from this set. They're both about $21 right now. Elish Norn has 11 other versions, dude. They're all way pricier than that. So if you want to buy one and give it a little smooch in the night and a top loader, I mean, listen, that's up to you, dude, but I ain't buying any of those. But these appear to be selling like hotcakes right now for $21, dude. I looked at the most recent sales and it's pretty full. There's like 10 or 15 on both of them every day. I've never even had a hotcake, dude. They sell out too quick, man. Cold cakes for me and your mom tonight, brother. I'm of the opinion that these are both really good cards, but I wouldn't spend $21 plus tax and whatever else for them, dude. They're powerful, they're flashy, they're great in the command zone or in the 99. But my friends, in the modern reprint economy, there's nothing saying that these won't get reprinted in the Doctor Who Commander decks, or the bonus sheet on Throne of Eldraine. Have you seen that thing lately? Or whatever comes after that, I don't know. $20 is a bit steep, brother. I can build a deck without them. Anyways, you fine folks out there, you're a bunch of fine folks. Take care of yourself, take care of your family, make sure you wear comfortable, supportive shoes, alright? As an old man, I can attest to the importance of all these things, especially taking good care of your feet. Maybe take a second, stretch out those hamstrings as well, brother. I had a great interaction with Demo from EDH Deck Building. Maybe you heard of this guy in the comments the other day. That guy is one of the reasons I started on YouTube. Great guy, great channel. So if you aren't subscribed to him, go check out his stuff as well. Snicky G from Better Commander, signing off.